Hey, welcome to Advisors Lodge, a podcast for all financial advisors. I'm one of your hosts, Edward Pai.
And I'm your other host, Roger Ling. Join us as we chat with industry experts to get the best advisor tips and ideas.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Advisor Lodge, the podcast where we deep dive into the world of financial advice. Today, we are debunking myths and shining a light on the truth with the help of a very special guest. So, joining us is none other than Mr. Mehn Zaw Wunna, Assistant Vice President at Prestige Raffles, Manulife Financial Advisors. So, Man, it's fantastic to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us. And I think let's jump right into the action because today's topic is really interesting and uncover some of the biggest misconceptions about financial advisors and what they face, and let's learn from Man how he actually successfully navigate these challenges.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on the show.
Sounds great, man. So okay, I think with all of our podcasts, how we start is we want to know, how do you get started in this industry and what has your experience been like?
All right. So, do you guys want the truth, or you guys want a politically correct answer?
The truth. The truth matters.
All right. If the truth matters, then I think I'll just be very straightforward and honest. Um, I think a couple of years back, when I was still schooling, I kind of got scammed to the industry without actually realizing it, right? So, I actually went for an interview. Who Actually, one of my friends invited me to an interview for an internship. So I went, and guess what? The interview, the job was titled as
What was it? What was it?
asset management interns.
Okay, but that's a nice hook there, actually.
Right? It's not too bad, right? So straight up, I went for an interview, which was at Woodlands, which I should have known was a red flag. Okay, but yeah, I got interviewed by like 5 different people at one go. And then in retrospect, I realized that they were just managers and directors of an insurer, lah.
Right, but I think okay lah. In a sense, not really a scam. I think asset management is still valid in a sense that you're still managing clients' money. You're building a portfolio that for them. It's still an asset, so it's still a management of assets. So okay.
Sure, I mean it's not wrong, but I
Yeah.
think like it's slightly misleading. Yeah, but fast forward 5 years, here I am today. Not with the same people, but yeah, it's been equally as emotionally rewarding emotionally and financially as well. And of course, like with this industry, like there's a trifecta that we can achieve, right? Which is independence, income, and you can create the right impact. So that's basically what I've been experiencing with this industry so far.
So, man,
Right.
actually, yeah, I was just wondering, since you mentioned that you were interviewed at Woodlands, right? So 5 years, fast forward 5 years, are you still going back to Woodlands?
Fortunately not. I'm at Somerset these days.
That's good. That's good. But thanks for sharing. I think that's, I mean, for the candidates and all that, right? And I think that's also, you as an advisor right now, right? As you speak to your clients, probably they are also the same thing. They probably would have not known you. They probably would have who is this person trying to plan my finances, trying to manage my finances. So again, there could be red flags on their end. You could be their Woodlands in that sense, and I think that that's something that there will be a lot of some negative perceptions and all that. So maybe just elaborating a little bit more, right? Since I mean, it is the truth. There are probably some negative perceptions right now as being a financial advisor. But why do you still choose this profession as well? Yeah.
Actually, when was the last time you met an advisor and like the alarm bells were ringing in your head?
Uh, I didn't meet an advisor that give me the alarm bells. Usually, the ones that I've met are the so-called the people that try to lure the clients in, and they will try to offer me with your USB-C chargers and all that. And I thought actually I do not. Okay, first thing, I do not need the charger. Second thing is, why, if I'm serious on getting somebody to plan my finances, right? Getting a charger to lure me in, that's not gonna work. I mean, they're just doing a job. I mean, in all fairness to them, but I guess it's really about, do you really need somebody to be standing there to get somebody in to have a short discussion, not just on financials, but just have a chit chat on, what are you planning so far? Expenses are going up, have you started planning for your own, wealth? Have you started planning for any emergencies and all that? So I think that's the part that is people are getting a bit more apprehensive. So
Right.
it's not really about the advisors, but it's really the external factors, I'll call it. Yeah.
I think environment also matters, right? When you're actually speaking about your finances as well. Because if you're forced to sit down at a at an MRT on a little stool and start having to reveal to people about the inner workings of your finances, it also gets really uncomfortable, isn't it? But yeah, so you guys were asking like why, even though there are like negative perceptions, I still chose this profession, right? I think maybe then it was like fate, right? Maybe it was chosen for me. Because when I first started off, actually back then I was like bartending, right? And I was like hosting a couple of events. One of the events kind of went bust, so I had to work my ass off to pay back certain debts that I had. But then I was already coded with the interviewer that got me into the industry. So I was like, you know what? Let me just give this a shot. All right. But then I realized that when I started working, the market is absolutely like underserved and oversold. Like what you were saying just now, right? Like if you have to have people luring you or pulling you to have a sit down and talk about your finances, then of course it's really weird, right? And in that few minutes where I can actually only throw you an elevator pitch, I can't fully understand you, right? And your finances either. So I thought, hey, like, I mean, this market really needs to change. And sometimes, as cliche as it is, trying to change the world, it starts with one person, right?
Yeah, I think I have to fully agree with you. I mean, it's if I am a financial advisor, basically I want to approach a client not just an elevator pitch, right? You really will want to sit down, size the client because the client is going to size you as well, right?
Absolutely,
And
bro.
that's the matter of the fact. And I mean, both of us, I mean, the client and advisor as well, have to find a middle ground. There are similarity to what you are expecting, the values and all this, and then it will actually start building the rapport, and then from there, client will be more comfortable to basically tell you what are their plans and financial needs and all this kind of thing. And that's where you can start to value it. So I probably would agree with you. Markets underserved and oversold. I like that. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely right, there are misconception about financial advisors, and I actually read on Reddit and some of the forums how people complain about it, and I want to know how you actually have addressed or overcome there. So I think the first one I find it very interesting, and it always there are people around me that actually tells me about it. Advisors are just sale people. They don't have my best interest at heart, and will pressure me to getting into unnecessary product. I think that is the hottest one. I think with the highest vote as well.
Right, right, right. Hey, I mean, let's be real here. They aren't entirely wrong, right? We are sales and KPI driven, just like every other industry in the world, correct? And I mean, the only difference is that because we're so like intertwined with our clients' lives, right? And we get very up close and personal, like we create a lot of direct impact to our clients. And of course, this impact can be both like positive or negative, right? But then here's another perspective, right? Sometimes the things that we recommend to you right here today may not seem like something that is necessary to you at this point in your life, but then oftentimes we do have to encourage you to implement it because it's better done early when you're young or in the pink of health, right? But then again, there are a few bad apples, right everywhere, right? So I cannot speak for those people who just ask you to, like, pile on investments without doing any like sort of risk management, right? So
Yeah.
that's really my take lah. I mean, everybody's a salesperson. We sell a piece of ourselves to the world every day.
Oh yes, you are right. Even example, if you're going for an interview, you're selling yourself. So yes,
100%.
correct. So sales skills are very much needed for not only for your work, for your daily life, anything that you're trying to do. You're trying to talk to your clients. They're basically doing sales. So I
You're
fully
right.
agree with you that they are entirely wrong. Just that how you actually bring across the sales technique, or how you actually bring across the interest of clients. I think those things really matter as well. And also, I think one thing is I like the point where you say, you recommend that may not be be something necessary at the point of your life, which is true. So when I first started out, there was I mean, I have a financial advisor, and then she was telling me, look, you got to do RSP and all this. To me, I was like, yeah, you sure or not, and all this kind of thing. As a young guy, you probably want to spend more than you want to save. Right. So, but I think she actually tell me about the benefit, instill the discipline, and that actually got into me, and then it was actually a saving habit. And yeah, so my savings grew, my investment grew, and it was something that, oh yeah, at that point of time, I wasn't be able to see that big picture. But as I grow older, things just naturally develop. So I think I have to thank her for that as well. Yeah. So
You're right. I mean, like sometimes technically, nobody likes to fear monger, right? But then sometimes when we face certain difficult clients that just very myopic and they only see tunnel vision, then of course we do have to employ certain techniques to help them understand better on like proper risk management. Yeah.
So on that part, I mean, thanks on that part. I think whatever is brought out is actually a very good example of how we should always look at the bigger picture and all that. But and like what he mentioned, it's good to have some financial advisors around you, in your circle of friends, family members, and so on and so forth. But then again, it is always a little bit more challenging and sensitive, when you have somebody that is close to you talking to you, and basically know everything about your financial status and your almost everything about you, your objectives, your where you're planning, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
So but we realize that that there are some myths as well, where we say that advisors who suddenly contact their school friends they've spoken to in years must be struggling to hit their sales quota. So this is something that we came across when we thought that it's a little bit interesting. Do you see that, or what's your take on that? Yeah.
Actually, Roger, if we were in school together and like we didn't really like each other and you received this call like 10 years later, what else do you think I'll be calling you for? There's only three reasons, bro. Let's be real, right? So I want to sell you an MLM product. I want to borrow money. I want to sell you insurance. Correct?
I think probably in the first place, I wouldn't even have your number. so
Maybe.
yeah, and then given now the age and time, right? When I see the unknown number, I probably think that it's a scam call.
You're
So
right.
I probably wouldn't even pick it up as well. But you are
Correct.
right. You are right about that. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
Okay,
somebody has
but
not spoken to. Yes.
but yeah, no, it's not entirely true lah. Come on, I mean, okay, I personally I started the different the industry in a like slightly different way from most advisors, right? I spent the first few years not talking to any of my friends, not talking to any of my family members, and it was a little bit of my own personal like, reservation as well. But then when I started talking to my friends, I mean, this was about maybe 2 years into the career. And then like I started asking them like, hey, like why don't you just show me your portfolio? Just let me take a look at it, right? And they started showing me and like, damn, the things that were implemented, right? And I realized there's a few more than a few bad apples in the industry, right? So that's when I decided to like pivot into doing my natural market, right? So because I realized, hey man, like looking at all of these portfolios, it's very again one dimensional, right? And myopic. So I thought like, hey, look, I'm already an FA. I can broker like instruments from different places, and I can probably do better than 90% of the advisors out there, right? I don't want to toot my own horn, but yeah, like my portfolios have been up for reviews by a lot of many other advisors. My clients still come back to me, and at the end of the day, like if you are actually having to, how do I put it? continue or develop this relationship, professional relationship with your friends, I think it can be very fruitful as well, even for you as a client, right? Because you won't hesitate to call me, but you may hesitate to call a stranger that has been advising you on your finances, right? So same thing, my guys are taught in the same way on how to do proper financial planning. Help them hit their short-term goals or their long-term goals. And these portfolios should not be something that you only implement for the very short run or something that's only applicable today.
I mean, you're right on that end as well, because likewise, even though I've been in the industry for for a considerable time period as well, but I do have friends, and to be honest, when they are talking about all the investment style and everything, and which are the solutions out there and all that, I tend to stay away from it. I tend not to
Yeah,
engage in some of the discussions as well.
yeah,
So some of them, a couple of them are actually agents themselves. So
right.
they're asking me, hey, why don't you, explore into this area, because you have the knowledge,
Mm,
you really know what things to speak to and all. So I say no. I mean, I'm a little bit different from you as well, but I get what you mean.
mm,
But when they, so I always tell them to say that, when only when you are looking for solutions and you come and ask me and say, hey, what do you think about this particular investment? Then yes, that's where I will step in and advise you a little bit on your portfolios that you have, and then probably need to look for an advisor to have a proper see through and a more thorough cover review. But other than that, I tend to stay away from it. But I just wanted to share also one more, which is one of the myths that I think we have been seeing as well, is that advisors will be your best friend, when trying to close the deal, but somehow they will disappear into the thin air, when you need them. So, any truth to that?
I think um, we're both technically kind of doing sales, right? I mean, you guys are doing the BD and account management. I myself doing relatively the same because it's been a few years in the industry. But I think that myth specifically is just really bad expectation management, bro. Right? So, I mean, a very typical trap that most salespeople fall into is over-promising and under-delivering, right? How many times have you heard these salespeople go out there, over-promise clients, come back to back end, and back end cannot deliver, get into arguments, and then go back out to clients again, and then telling them that sorry, can't deliver, right? You've heard of these like a million times. But then you see the thing is like when you manage their expectations from the get-go, right? My clients just know to like call me if it's an emergency. And if it's like middle of the night, call me twice because my phone's usually on do not disturb. But then if you're texting me about an administrative issue that I have like maybe a couple of weeks, couple of months leeway to address, then come on now, you get a reply when I wake up or in a couple of hours, right? So my clients know me like that way. So technically, Roger, it's also a two-way street, right? Like you don't expect your advisor to be your personal slave, and I won't treat you like my cash cow. That's just what it is.
Yeah. So I agree with you in that, right? Different kind of emergency or a different kind of needs or service, depending on the urgent of it, requires a different kind of prioritization from the financial advisor, right? But
Yep.
I think some of the things where financial advisors will really come in handy and really do value as, like, let's say for example, when the markets are down, right? Then that is where the financial advisors got to be very active on hand-holding your clients. And I think next one, wow, I think this one very, very interesting.
What?
If your
Come at me,
plans
sir.
or products are so good, yeah, this one quite typical, quite
Well,
typical.
I already know where this is going.
Yeah, why are you not rich or trying to get a commission from me? I think this one is always quite sensitive as well, but good to address, good to address.
Okay. Honestly, Edward, I think for this, there's only like a few, like two sentences that I wanna input for this. Right? If I don't get commissions, then how to reinvest there?
Yeah, that's true.
We get rich in 10 years together. Can?
Yeah, I think more or less, one thing is that, of course, yeah, financial advisors, they also have to get some kind of remuneration, right? I
Oh,
mean, you are also working, you also need to provide for the family, and that's a very respectful job and all this kind of thing. And of course, as your financial advisor starts doing well and your portfolio also start growing, that means to say he's actually walking in the right direction. So like what you say, both of you all deserve to get rich together in 10 years time. And of course with that along, when you're longer into the relationship, you go more than just advisory work. You goes into friendship, so on and so forth. And it's good to see each other grow. So yeah, and of course, to me is you always have to pay for quality service. So yeah, why not, right? Because it's a
Exactly.
service that you're rendering. And I think the other one is the next one, which is kind of linked to the fourth one.
Yep.
Financial advisors can easily earn 5-digit monthly income from their commission. Oh, yes.
Ah,
I always see on social media, wow, all the good
all
life.
the rollies and the APs and the
Yes,
sports
yes,
cars.
yes, 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 yes.
Right. But I think even okay, this is very much linked to the first one, the point before, right? But then I realized like I have been growing with my clients, right? They are progressing in their careers. I'm progressing in mine as well. I'm handling their portfolios, risk management to wealth management. And the thing is, the relationships have developed so much that like, we celebrate each other's wins. And I think it's important to do that, right? Like celebrate the win with your advisor, celebrate the win with for an advisor, celebrate the win with your clients, right? It goes both ways, and that becomes beautiful. That relationship becomes beautiful, right? But to talk about like advisors can easily make a 5-digit income from their commission, sure, very possible, right? But then what about it, right? I mean, we're working almost 24/7. The main reason is because we refuse to work 9 to 5. And technically, if I prioritize your needs as the client's needs in the short run, then of course naturally money will flow in the long run because there'll be repeat businesses and there'll be referrals. So I don't really quite get the hate on advisors being able to make a certain level of income. And I think technically we do really deserve it because look, you want to call me at 2 a.m. on an emergency, man, I gotta get paid.
No, I totally agree you. And I mean the truth of fact, because my job day in day out, I mean I always liaise with financial advisors, and I
Yeah,
tell you the kind of work they do, it's not easy. People
yeah,
always think, yeah, they just sell me a product and that's all. But no, when you really come to emergency, when you really come to a market crisis, they are always there for you 24/7. And that kind of work is very demanding, right? So I think to me, yeah, it's a fair game. You put in the hard work, you're being remunerated as it is. So to me,
100%. Yeah.
no issues at all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, man. I think that's also a very fair point as well. I I think from my angle itself, and probably that's to add on to what you mentioned is that besides the dedication and the hard work, and like you mentioned, calling you at 2 a.m. if there's an emergency and all that, or when
Yep.
the markets are tanking, especially right now, seems like the markets have been huge. It's a very different environment that we're in right now as
Yep.
compared to where you started,
Yep.
and also where the markets were, and so it's especially after pre-COVID days and all that. So I think end of the day is about it's about how much value add and the trusted relationship that you have with your clients, because they know that they can get by with their day-to-day lives, knowing that their entire investment portfolio, their insurance portfolio, everything on a wealth management perspective is well taken care of by somebody there, and it probably his team. And
Yep.
I think that is the importance part of it. So
Yep.
so probably leading to that, right? And as I mentioned about that, what do you think actually need to change in this industry to actually counter some of the misconceptions that we are seeing from the forums, that from we are reading, and so on and so forth? Yeah.
Right. Um, Change. I think personally, when you look at the market now and how it has developed really quickly over the past 5 years of me being in the industry, I think there's been a lot of changes, right? And I don't think n- we need to personally put in the effort to change things because when you look at what is MAS is doing, they're doing the job for us and for the people, right? Look at all the red tapes that have been put in place for prospecting activities, right? Look at the PDPA standards. They banned like door knocking already. They're also clamping down on roadshows. So I also see this from MAS perspective, the objective is quite simple, right? If Roger, I don't get to pull you in while you're walking back home from an MRT station, then of course naturally the quality of advice will improve, right? Because I'm not elevator pitching you anymore. So, but then there is one thing I would like to encourage is actually maybe two. I would really encourage all advisors to improve on their investment knowledge. Right, because I think that's what we're seeing on the market these days. A lot of people are just selling, churning out these products without really understanding what they are advising or on recommending. And people who already achieve a certain level of success. This is the second point. When the markets are doing bad, make the call to your client first. Don't let the client call you and question you on why their portfolio is in the red. So I think that's just my inputs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I,
thanks, man. And I think probably just to add on before, yeah, Edward could come in with some of his points as well, is
Yep.
that it's not about you are right in a sense whereby the quality of the advice will be better, but if I look it from the other angle, it's also the quality of the clients that you're going to speak to are going to be a lot more better, and
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think that will be a lot more it's the right fit
Mm.
because you get a right group of people that's coming in for advice and you can
Yep.
give them the best quality of the advice, and I
Yep.
think that was the right fit, and that will clamp down on, you can mention, like, the number of bad eggs, the number of wrong choices in their investment portfolios especially. So that would actually help because it's going to be a vicious cycle if I get the wrong crowd coming in and somehow they do not understand the product well, and I do not brush out on my knowledge, like you mentioned as well, probably is
Yep.
one point to highlight. Then end up what we're going to happen is that we're going to see a big a big hoo-ha on the, advisors recommending wrong products and so on and so
Mm.
forth.
so to me, of course, men's final thing on improving on their knowledge. I think not only advisors, clients as well, even as an investment professional myself, on a daily basis, I'm trying to improve my knowledge. The markets is always teaching you something. There's always something new about the markets, about the investment, the products. It's always good to always upskill yourself. So please use your skills futures as well. Could be anything, right? Could be investment, could be AI. AI is a big thing right now. So, it's actually creating impact in a lot of the sectors, even in the investment world as well. So, yeah, there's many things to learn. Always improving is always good, right? I think that's one thing. And to actually summarize today's, talk, what I learned, from our conversation is that
Yep.
clients are entrusting their they're a big part of their life in terms of financial is a very big part of everyone's life to advisors. So advisors got to respect that, and
Yep.
so advisors basically need to value add, do what you need to do, for these clients that are entrusting you with their finances. And for the clients as well, one thing is that you got to, give credit to your advisors because they're giving you the dedication. Anytime you call, anything that you need, they are there for you all the time. They don't complain. They give you their most trusted advice for your well-being. So I think it's a two-way thing. I think that is actually very important, having that good communication. So it takes two hands to clap. So,
Yep.
and I think that will helps in debunking all the myths that you have in this episode.
Hope
Please,
the inputs have been good for you guys. I think that's
definitely. Okay, so man, thank you once again. Sorry,
no
for
problem.
yeah, giving us your inputs and insight, and then hope to see you around. Thank you.
Right. All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks everyone for listening to this episode of Advisors Lodge.
Have any questions or feedback for us? Drop us a comment below. We love to hear from you.